Accept.
We'll accept. Yes, exactly. I can't believe that. David, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule.
It is a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here, and excited for your show and how much you're helping people. It's awesome.
Well, it's like we're both doing similar things. You know, I'm doing a podcast and you developed this really cool app. Now, I have to admit, David, I'm a bit of a moron when it comes to technology. And I was really happy when Kathleen, who connected us, she was telling me about the app, and I get lost in apps. Be honest with you, I get lost in apps and programs and social media. So I'm just like I'm a bit of a moron, like a little when it comes to
Yeah.
it. And
Well, we
she was
all have
telling,
challenges.
yeah, and that's mine. That's mine for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh, I got printer challenges all the time with technology. That's my nemesis, printers.
Yeah. So I had to ask you: are you an app developer by trade? Is that your background?
No, I'm working with an app developer out in India. I had received this information on creating this app, if you want to call it like divine guidance
Okay,
or in a dream.
sorry, I mean to stop you. Let's just kind of go
Yeah.
back to what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the app first, and this way we
Sure.
can kind of describe that, and then we can
Okay.
you can talk about that part. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's just like
No
because
problem.
it's such a cool app.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So kind of give me the what the Divine Array app is all about.
It's about short videos that you'll log onto this app and there's short videos that these creators are creating are about tuning in their divine wisdom. So moments of divinity, and it could be even just this insight, that just this moment that just came into their head and that just provide this clarity to such a point where they were able to shift something within themselves, and it put them on this trajectory of, let's say, a positive path, or manifesting the reality, like just things that where vibration attracts vibration, like attracts like, creating the reality that you want. And just these different nuggets, or it could be light language and these new meditations that are creating peace in your life, that you're wanting to bring this information out to people. And you create these divine moments, these short videos. You can upload like a minute video, or you can record a 2-minute video on the app. So the point of it is to be the highest vibrational app and to shift moods, and to transform lives. And I know it sounds like that's a pretty big task, but it's just these golden nuggets of information that you come onto the app, and people are offering this information and are connecting and sharing their hearts and their guidance. And when you're looking at it, there could be a message on there that's just for you, that's going to shift your mood from having a day that's been challenging to shifting it to a day that it shifted your mood. You're happy, you're excited, and that divine wisdom, that's exactly what you needed to hear in order to shift your emotional state. So it's about shifting, and it's also about giving you just some beautiful nuggets of information that could help transform your life. And there's all these short videos, and you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. You get one after the other, after the other, after the other, after the other, by really high vibrational beings, and as well as we're just really people who are tuning in their divine moments. So
Okay.
I saw a video, and I just dropped my jaw dropped when I was on there, and I was watching it, and it was just somebody loving Mother Earth, loving the nature, and lying on the ground and just being in nature and enjoying that moment. And then she was, doing some light language as well, and it blew me away. And all these videos that people are sharing from their heart are. You can feel it. You can feel that love. You can feel that vibration. It's very positive.
Okay, so it's basically a platform. It's a sharing platform, so people who are healers, light workers, anybody who's got a service, or who's just high vibration, who just wants to raise the consciousness, it just gives them a platform to use so they can spread their messages, and then it just allows the people who have the app to as well to actually tune into that. So if you're having a crappy day, you can just scroll one of those videos and you can just see, something may pop up automatically. And I always love the synchronistic of it, because usually when you're having a shitty day, the right video always seems to show up that you need to hear. And that's what I love about it. So is that kind of what's happening with your app too as well?
Yeah. It's something that I love as well, just going on there and there's so much that I wasn't expecting that people would be sharing, and it's shifting myself as well. And yeah, it was really always about everyone tuning in their divine wisdom to create these ripples and expanding consciousness. And you know, many of us believe we're moving into a fifth dimensional reality away from a third dimensional. And really the biggest difference is that we're making our decisions, we're moving away from making them from our head, and we're making them from our heart. And when you make them from your heart, it leads you into more joy and happiness, and more into a way of living that is in a line with what is going to make you feel complete, be complete, and advance. And it's something that's been seen over the years, and it's been shifting even in workplaces where people are culture based, and they're realizing that if you develop your culture and focus on the people within your organization, and you get greater buy-in, you get greater acceptance. And the shift now, from living from your heart and making these decisions, it is the same. It is focusing on people, and the importance of everybody, and the importance of making decisions from your heart. And in doing that, you'll manifest faster. And that's the shift, the difference of where, because we for so long have been technology, well, we still are technology driven, but we've been making decisions always from our mind. And our heart is more connected with our soul, it's more connected with our spirit. And so when we're making decisions that are more in alignment with our heart and our spirit, then we advance as a soul. And we bring in more joy. You're happier every day. And this is what this whole shift about from 3D to a 5D is about. And the divine ray is capturing this essence of the shift that is happening, and to assist everybody here to live in more joy and happiness and unconditional love in their life, for themselves and for everybody in the world.
Okay. So let's talk about, yeah. So before I kind of rudely interrupted you a little bit there. I wanted to basically just talk about how the app works. So can we go through the workings of the app too as well? Because I think that's really important for people. I know you have a great video, and I'll make sure I'll have the link for everybody, who are listening and watching the podcast, so they can look on the video too. But I just want to go for the listeners too as well. Kind of work us through the app itself. Now, I hate to make comparisons. I was showing a few friends of mine, and they were like, "This is cool. And they kind of compared it to TikTok, and they were kind of saying it's kind of like a spiritual version of TikTok for light workers. Is that kind of a right assessment?
It is. It's like TikTok, but for spirituality, and the difference is it adds a dimension to it that TikTok doesn't offer. But there's so many people in the spiritual community that do healing sessions. They do Akashic records, which is cleaning your ancestry out, shifting your vibration. They do tarot card readings. They offer meditations and light language videos and activations to really like open you up to living within your heart base. So it's all about the heart and expanding your heart energy. And so we've done it is we've allowed for there to be like a virtual store for all these creators. So if you're offering psychic readings, spiritual healings, meditations, activations, or if you're selling crystal products or books that for spirituality and anything that you want to promote, it can all be done on your virtual store through the app. So on the one hand of the app, everybody is tuning in their divine moments and connecting with people. And then if you are a healer, let's just say, or if you're selling crystals, you will make some videos with your crystal shop, or that you're offering spiritual healings or tarot card readings, and to check out your online store. So people can book sessions, they can buy the meditations, they could buy workshops. If you're into life coaching, they could buy workshops and your life coaching seminars. They could do everything all on the app, and it's very seamless. So it's a nice place to meet. It's a place where people are going for higher vibrational and tuning into their divine wisdom. And it's also a place where people are offering services to even further enhance your spiritual gifts, and by offering these different healers and business owners a platform to market to people who are into divine and high vibrational work. So
That sounds very, very cool. So it's almost like having a mobile website in a way. It's still like it almost eliminates the need for a website, because in some ways it's covering your little bit of social media, but it's also covering a store, which is basically most times it's usually your website. So basically it kind of takes both of those. So you can almost eliminate your website if you wanted to in some ways because it's out
Hmm.
there. Now, can you actually link that to your social media accounts? Do you have a URL that you can just basically link in? So once you, I can put it on, my link tree on my Instagram or things like that. How does that
Yeah.
work?
Yeah, everyone has a share profile on their Divine Ray, and they can link it to any of their social media platforms. What I've been doing myself is I'll advertise, hey, you know what, I got a free meditation in there, and then it will bring people into my store, and then they can get a taste of my energy work and my meditation. And then if they like it, they could look at other ones that are for sale and purchase them. So it's a nice way to get people in. You offer, one for free, and then they could see a whole list of your other products that you're selling, which is great way to exposure. And light workers and spiritual community have always found it hard. How do I get out there? How do I reach more people? And this is a global mobile marketing platform essentially that is going to really connect everybody together. And it's really nice that you don't have to spend money on marketing as a person who's in business, because it costs money and it's hard, and it's always the thing: how do I get more customers? How do I get more customers? And generate more revenue and everything? And how do I spread my light? How do I get my messages out there? How do I get my work out there? And there's a lot of people that that are not even at that website level, but they have all these gifts and they're ready to share. So this really brings it all together, where you don't have to pay for the marketing. You get on there, you create your store, it's bringing people in. And like we're at the point right now where we're trying to reach like between 50 and 100 creators on there, and then have a big marketing campaign. And that's when marketing is going to kick in from us, and it's really going to be effective. So the app it's only been out for less than a month that
Oh,
it's been
wow.
live, so it is fairly new. And the whole purpose before marketing kicked in was to get all these higher vibrational videos, get the content out there. So we're working with a lot of people in the spiritual community, all high vibrational people here, to really bring as much high vibration as possible, while having all the creators and the healers and all on there. And so when marketing kicks in, it's going to be abundance for everybody who is involved with the app,
Yeah,
essentially.
that sounds fantastic. That sounds like it sounds like a noble project. And I think it's really something that is needed too, because I know a lot of, like, especially doing this podcast, there's so many amazing healers and people out there that are just kind of been lost. And, I found a lot of the people on my show, it's just through friends of friends, or if I interviewed you, you'd have somebody that you knew that's, I would never even know existed, that had these amazing abilities and these amazing gifts. And it's really starting to open up now. And a lot of people are kind of coming out of what they call their spiritual closet, and they're really opening up and allowing a perfect message to become and to talk about and to do these great gifts. And whether you're a psychic or a light language person or healer, or you just want to just spread just joy and inspiration, I think it's a really good platform. Now, with the app itself, is it a free app or do we have to pay for it?
Yeah, it's free app. um, it's free for creators, it's free for people, for users. Like the how Divine Ray succeeds on it is through the creators, essentially. The there's Google and Apple fees on every in-app purchase for services across all apps. They charge 30%. It's pretty. It was a surprise, and it's a surprise for most people. So what we do is we have a coin mechanism where it costs $1.60 for one coin when a user is purchasing the coins, and then these coins are worth in the redeeming for the creators $1 US. So the difference between the $1.60 and the dollar covers the Apple and the Google fees, and it provides a profit for the further development of Divine Ray. And so as we're marketing, we're actually asking creators, like, if you can reduce your selling prices by like 30% than normal at the beginning here, as we're getting out there, to help make it more affordable for people to buy your services. Plus, you get all this exposure. Um, this is what we're asking, and it's I don't think it's a big request, because it's you're easily spending 30% or more on marketing to attract customers anyways, and now you're marketing in the global marketplace. So what we do with our profits as a company is we further invest in enhance the features. Like one of our features that we're working on that will be live within a few months is a live stream. So if you have a spiritual group, for example, or if you're a creator that has a lot of followers, and you're doing a live stream, anyone that likes your videos, anyone that likes your group that you've been marketing in the app, and you've been telling people, hey, come check me out in Divine Ray, and they follow you. When you do this live stream, all the people who follow you will be seeing this live stream, and it will send them like push notification right on their phone, hey, there's live streaming, and you are able to reach that audience. And you can imagine, as we grow from 10,000 to 100,000 to 1 million users, what that's going to mean for you in your business and your sales and your success and your abundance. It's going to mean a lot. And a lot of people are looking for an alternative from social media and live streaming on Facebook and live streaming on other platforms, because there's certain restrictions and confinements. With our app, we're not censoring anybody in the fact to the like we're sharing data or doing this. We are monitoring if there's anything that is negative, that is attacking people and everything. Like those kind of videos will be removed, because like the whole intention here is it's the highest vibrational app.
Yes.
So that is being monitored, but like we're not taking people's information. We're not selling anyone's information. We're not using information against you to advertise and create all these issues. It's just very simple: high vibration and a platform to share your content, to create and sell your products and services, and to assist as humanity is awakening into this idea that we're shifting into a 5D consciousness. They're going to be looking for these nuggets, this information, to help them change, to help them work and advance their soul. And Divine Ray is a nice platform for that to happen.
Okay. So one of the things I want to talk about is the coin thing. So I was a little confused on that a little bit. So let's say, for example, let's kind of break down an example. So let's say I have a crystal. I have a crystal little shop or something like that, and I'm selling a crystal, let's say for $100.
Yeah.
And now I advertise it as $100 on the platform. Now you're saying I have to, like, say if I wanted to buy that crystal, I have to buy coins. How does that?
Yes.
How does that work?
So right now, I'll be like frank here. Like right now on the product side, the product feature is the only feature that it has to be transacted between the customer and the client privately in messages and stuff. But you feature them and they message you, they're interested to buy them. And because the global logistics of it right now, it requires a lot of APIs with all the different purulators and UPSs and all the freight companies with packages, dimensions, and weights of everything. And we're not quite there yet. So it'd be easier for me to explain this in let's say a spiritual healing that you're going to do, or an activation. So
okay, let's talk about that. Let's say I want to do a Reiki session. Let's say I'm selling a Reiki session for, let's say, we'll just do the average. Let's do $100. So a Reiki session for $100.
So if you want to $100 you like our coins are worth, when you redeem them, $1. So you would put your price at $100, 100 coins. And then when you get the coins, you just redeem them through PayPal at $1 per coin when you redeem them. So if you have 100 coins in your account, you redeem them through PayPal for $100. This essentially is what it is.
Okay. So that being said, then now, do I have to have a PayPal account? How do I receive my money then from the app? Is it basically through PayPal?
It is through PayPal. Yeah. Exactly.
So basically all I have to do is just enter my PayPal information into the app, and it'll just say, okay, set up your PayPal account. And then that's how the transaction will be made through it. Correct?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Like when you redeem your first coins, it asks you to link your PayPal. And so when you link your PayPal, then it just goes into your PayPal. Now, a lot of people who are in other areas other than the US, you'll have, it'll just show you'll have 100, or I'm just using the 100 coin, 100 US in your PayPal account as an example. So we'll say you have 100 US. Now, when you redeem that from your account into your bank account, then you can choose the currency that you want from there, and it will automatically do your conversion for you because PayPal has all that built into their technology.
Yeah, I have that set up myself so that, because I do have clients outside the outside Canada that I do work for, and yeah, I just basically charge them. Let's say if they're in the U.S., I just charge them, hey, just send me the U.S. dollars too as well. So I mean, that sounds really fantastic. Now, does the app accept Bitcoin or cryptocurrency or anything like that right now?
Not right now, but in a future version, since we are working on, and it will take a year, a divine rate cryptocurrency, and it's going to be paired and launched on the Cosmos network, because we believe that it's the internet of blockchains, that it's going to be where the future of blockchains are going to be, between Cosmos and Polkadot. But Cosmos is working with Polkadot anyways, and Polkadot is working with Cosmos. So either way, but it's easy to launch on Cosmos, and so we're working on that. And so in the future, yeah, you'll be able to transact in cryptocurrency rate. And this is why we're working on a coin method, like in the beginning here, because the idea in the long term, like when I want to say long term, I mean a year down the road from now, when there's a divine rate cryptocurrency, we want to reward people for liking, for sharing content, for finding new users, and we're going to create this reward-based system with the cryptocurrency for basically sharing out videos, being in the app, participating, and where you're going to be getting rewards in the cryptocurrency. And in addition, the creators can take their coins, and instead of redeeming them through the PayPal, they will be able to redeem them into the cryptocurrency if they choose, if they want. I mean, all cryptocurrency is obviously speculative, but if you believe that the value of the coin is going to go up, it would make sense to carry a lot, maybe some, as an investment tool, in anticipation that the value of the coin is going to go up. And why we like the Cosmos network as well is that they're creating this DEX system, and that's really popular in cryptocurrency right now. And the DEX will be allowed all the blockchains to be able to participate in what's called liquidity pools, and then we'll also get on exchanges and be on liquidity pools, so that it creates a demand for the coin, in addition to creating a reward system in social media, because a lot of the social media platforms that are launching on blockchain right now are creating reward systems that are rewarding people for participating. So we're going in that direction. It's about a year away, but it's very exciting, and it's going to make huge impacts on the users and people who are on there, and it being exposed to creators and being exposed to these divine videos, because it's going to drive so much people when they know that you can get rewarded and compensated for essentially just sharing
Yeah,
and participating.
I think a lot of people like that, because I think, because there is a lot of people spending so much time on social media. So whether you're a creator or you're somebody who is just participating, as a content creator, they're always looking for monetization on the end to help, promote and do what they enjoy doing. But on the other hand, too, if you're somebody just kind of, scrolling through social media, you're spending a lot of time there too as well. So it's kind of a good way of enticing people to stay a little bit longer. At the same time, too, help out your fellow spiritual person out there too, your favorite psychic or your favorite healer, or your favorite speaker, whoever else is on the platform at that time. So that sounds really, really interesting, especially going into that cryptocurrency, because I know a lot of people are talking about that and moving that into that type of currency, whether it's Bitcoin too as well. Now,
Yeah.
I have to ask you a question too as well. Are you originally an app developer? Like, what's your background?
I'll be frank. I've had a different variety of different businesses, and my background is mostly in sales and marketing. And in my last 7 years, I had a construction business, and I was just getting guidance that because I wasn't happy very early on in the business, but I had built it to a point where it was really successful, and I sacrificed my happiness for doing, decent with my finances. And I kept doing that, and the more that I did it, the more unhappy I became. And eventually in 2019, I was having guidance coming in saying, you got to start following your heart. You have to start following your heart. And by 2020, the beginning of 2020, I started realizing that everything is shifting into this fifth dimension consciousness, and that is, I had full intentions of winding down this construction company so I could be doing something from my heart, doing something, because at that, I just didn't care about the money. I just wanted to be able to live and support myself and be happy. And that was what my main focus was. And that's why I'm doing this app, and I'm building this business from my heart, because I know it's going to, I know it's going to create a better balance in my life, and it's more in alignment with how I feel about myself now.
Yeah. Now, one of the things, it's interesting when you send me your bio too as well. You got a lot of this information about developing this app during a dream. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. I've always been guided. Like I've been lucky to have the fortune of spiritual guidance throughout my life, and this it was about in March of 2020 when I just said, you know what, I just want to be in my heart, and I want to serve what what people would call a divine, or to serve consciousness for the highest good. If just for the, I just want to be of service, assist everybody. I know we're all shifting. I just want to help, and like what you're doing with your podcast, you just want to help, as you're in alignment with shifting and helping people, and that's exactly how I was. And when I did that, and I surrendered to that concept, it was only a few months later where I received 3 vision dreams of people, and they had like these TVs over them, and they're tuning in their divine moments, and then I'd wake up, and I never had this happen at this point, even still to this day, has never been like this. When information comes in, I'd wake up, and all of a sudden I would hear what I would call my guides, different voices as I'm waking up, and they're saying, and everybody is going to love it. It's going to help everybody tune in their divine wisdom. And then I fall asleep, and then and the next dream they would show me. And by the third dream, there was hundreds of people in this field, like a farmer's field, and there's hay and grass, and the sun's shining, and everybody's happy. And then they shouted out, and it's called Divine Ray. And then I was like, oh, fantastic. So I don't even have to come up with the name. So by that third dream, when I woke up, I woke up. It was something like 5 in the morning. I just woke up and said, by the third dream, and I'm like, I'll do it. No matter what it takes, I'll do it. And of course, I was looking for something to do. So it was at this capacity. So I was so excited for it. So I sold everything I had at the time to invest in this project. And it was
Wow.
been about just over a year, and it's out, and it's exciting.
Yeah, I have to commend you on your courage too to follow that dream, because to sell everything, to kind of change your business model, like, I mean, it could be a very scary thing. And I know a lot of people in this particular time with COVID kind of been through this right now. They've had these really shifts in consciousness, or they're just more of awareness, and their whole lifestyles changed, their whole way of being has changed. And the fact that you decide, okay, I'm going to sell my business, sell whatever I have. And if you're in construction, you probably had tools and equipment and everything else, and just get that, and let me just develop this app. in
Yeah,
in the app world, it's a risky thing too, because there's so many apps out there, but there's really no app like this, which is the kind of the cool thing, and it's specifically for helping consciousness and move forward, but also same time developing a platform so that people can actually be on it and promote some light and love, which is really, really cool. I really commend you on that one. So with the app itself, um, okay, so we talked about how it's a coin system, it's free. Now, is there going to be a user fee later on? Do you think that is, or is the free going to be standard, and it's just the 30% that you're going to be charging off the top?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's all we're looking for. We don't want to bombard anybody with ads. We just want to create abundance for everybody, and share the divine wisdom. It's
Yeah,
just a portal of abundance for knowledge and heart-based reality, as well as finances for this shift that's happening right now on the planet. Because there's going to be a lot of people waking up, and like you're saying, with the COVID lockdowns, It's basically forced people to look within themselves and realizing that, you know what's important in my life. And because now I can't even work, and it really forced people to work on themselves, their marriages, their relationships, and tune into their heart, which is amazing, and now all these people around the world have had this time in to themselves, a lot more time. Everything's slowed down, everything closed, everything stopped, and they had time to reflect on what's important. And as they're shifting now, that and the whole purpose of this platform is to assist them to shift even more.
Yeah.
You know what? You got that taste. You got that taste of what of going into your heart and what's important. And here we want to offer you now a bigger piece of the pie. You know what? Here you tasted this, taste this. How about you taste that? Go in more, explore more in yourself. What more do you have in there?
Yeah.
And that's what this is about.
Yeah, I think that's really fantastic, and I think that's what's really happening with a lot of people. And all the interviews I've done over the last little while, um, I've seen that shift, and I've talked to a lot of healers, talked to a lot of people who've had those shifts in consciousness, and how it's really transformed their life. So, how has it really kind of transformed your life? What are you seeing different with you and your own family and your friends, your children? Like, can you maybe talk about that a bit?
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. In 2020 was the first time in my life that I looked in the mirror and I said, I love you. And I meant it. That was the biggest shift when I
Wow.
actually loved myself. I'd always look in the mirror and throughout my whole life. And I'm not afraid to admit this. I always thought, who is this stranger looking back at me? This is not me. Who is this? Especially in all the questionable decisions that I've made. Um, as when I'm learning what is not to be loved, and all these different turmoil situations. Um, and in 2019 and before, I would deal with a lot of my stress with drinking. And that's obviously not healthy at all.
No, definitely not.
And
No.
in 2000 and when you do that, your kids see that as well. And I've shifted completely where I basically don't drink very seldomly, every once in a while with some friends. There's nothing wrong with it in moderation. But I mean, I was an alcoholic. I was. There's no question about it. I mean, I would drink, 2 or 3 times a week, and a bottle of wine or 2 bottles of wine at a time. So that's a lot. And as I've shifted, and I don't want to have anything to do with alcohol anymore, because it creates this negative day after negative moments, instead of and negative opportunities. It's really like, it's not an opportunity. When you're not drinking, you have opportunities to have positive experiences, going out in nature, seeing all these amazing animals. Like recently my son, as we've been talking, and he sees me shift, and he sees me, and we talk about how you can communicate with animals and everything. Recently, he's been able to, him and my daughter have gone outside in my backyard where we have rabbits, and he's talked to the rabbits with his mind and his heart, letting him know he loves them, he's safe, he loves them, and he's gone up to them, and they've allowed him to pet him, and my daughter at the same time. And I'm like, how did Lily pet them? He says, because I said it's okay, she's fine, to the rabbit. So my daughter Lily went over and petted the rabbit as well. And then at the same time, a bird flies to my son, a robin. And like, it's like living in a fairy tale. But the more that we are in alignment with unity, and working as a species, living in our heart, the more that we're connected to nature, more that we're connected to animals, and these things are possible now. More and more people are realizing that the animals, as this shift in consciousness is happening on the planet, it's happening in the animals too. And more people are realizing that animals are getting closer to them. And it's the most amazing thing ever. It's so cool. So those shifts, going from somebody who's relying on drinking, living in stress, to somebody who is happy, loves self unconditionally for the first time. Every day is like a gift to me. And before, I wasn't looking forward to my day. when I was unhappy because I knew that I had to go into a situation that was going to make me stress and I wasn't going to be happy with it. But I always made the most out of it. I wasn't just depressed all the time, of course. But when you go from, working into from your mind to working in your heart, uh, and then you go from being an alcoholic to someone who doesn't drink and they're out in nature all the time and they're just loving themselves, loving their moments. They have closer connections with their children. I healed the trauma, like with my children, because when you're drinking alcohol, you can be very really abusive in situations. Not all the time, but there could be situations where it doesn't bring out the best qualities in you around your children. And so there was times where I would yell at my children under the influence of alcohol, and um, and I spent time, apologizing for that, reconciling with my children, and where my children were able to heal, where they would cry, and let out their emotions, and they would heal from this, and they know that this isn't the version of me anymore, and they know that what they get from me now is an unlimited source of love for them, and we're always doing so much. Before, in the old reality, we would go out, once every week, maybe every 2 weeks, where we spend time with the kids and do an activity. I go out with them every single day. We go out to the park all the time, and it's always an adventure, and it's always this joy in it and this happiness, and it's created just tremendous love in our family unit. And so these shifts are amazing. They're amazing. I would
Yeah.
never look back. I would never go back.
Yeah.
Never.
It's so amazing to hear that, and the understanding and the realization of what your drinking was doing to you and your family, and how you made that profound shift, because it's not an easy shift. Like, I mean, a lot of people stick in their muck for a long time. And, for somebody who used to use alcohol and drugs a lot too, myself in my early years, just to try to cope with life and things like that. Yeah, it really does not bring out the best version of yourself. And the fact that you realize that, and your kids have seen that, and you're working on that reconciliation, that healing between you and your kids too as well. And you just can't make up for that lost time. But you're out there with your kids every day, and they're seeing it, and that developing that bond and that trust and that love, and the love that you see for yourself is very, very commendable. So I really appreciate you sharing that too as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we like, there's no judgment, we've all are living in, we have been living in a world where we've had challenges, and the and this and there's always going to be obstacles, and there's always going to be problems to solve, but when you can solve it from a place of love, it becomes a lot easier than um, reacting to a situation, and coming from a place of haste, because haste just brings on more haste. Like, haste begets haste, and anger and hate, and it creates complications. So if when you're more in tune with your heart, you don't usually, I mean, you still might get angry, and that's fine. Everybody's human, and we're learning. It's fine to be angry sometimes, but the more that you can react from a place of love instead of haste, the easier the problems just kind of melt away, and people understand your point of view, and we move away from being the victim, and, and like a higher perspective, and the higher perspective is like, what you have your, what you want out of, you're coming to me here because you want to get something out of this relationship, but I also do as well. So let's, instead of reacting in a haste, like, how we either can work together here and come up with something that's going to be mutually beneficial, or you're not worth my time, because I don't want to bring in negativity and aggressive behaviors into my life. So as you're shifting, you also end up shifting other people, because now someone else is seeing this, like, wait a sec, I can't take advantage of this person anymore, and they're standing up for themselves in a fair way, and then they're basically saying, take it or leave it, and that's going to just all of a sudden shift somebody else to how that they're going to treat you in a relationship, and those things are what's going to create all these ripples where everyone's treating each other properly, essentially, and with respect and with compassion.
Yeah, well said. That's what it comes down to, is just, a lot of respect. And, I think a lot of it has to do with our self love with ourselves, and understanding that So David, if people are looking for the app, where can they find the app? Is it on like Android, Apple? Where can they find your app?
Yeah, both the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. Just search Divine Ray. It's DIVINERAY, and it will show up. It's a golden image with a like an angelic being with their arms up, and it'll say Divine Ray.
Okay, perfect. Now, is there a website too as well that they can find you, or an email if they want to talk to you at all, or connect
There's
with
a
you?
website. It's divineray.io. Now, when you sign up as a user, um, you can go to the website and create your virtual store by going to on your desktop to divineray.io. But there's also a link in the app that will bring you to your virtual store, divineray.io, as well, that where you can create and start offering your sessions, and it's also all automated. Like what a lot of healers don't like, and they've told me this, is that when people are reaching out, then they're having all these communications back and forth and time zones and differences, and then so that all this happens in booking a session with people in the old way. So with Divine Ray, when people reach out, it's just they book a session, they see their time zone, whatever your time zone is, they see it in their time zone. So there's no more what is the time zone thing anymore. Like what is, because that's been so
That's
frustrating for people.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Right.
Hey, talk to somebody who's been doing a podcast. Listen, I've been had people from the UK. I have people from like LA and the West Coast. So yeah, it's always a challenge. Yeah, it definitely is. I think that's fantastic because
Yeah,
yeah, I think I
and
need
then
to
it
have that.
sends them an email, sends you an email. So all you have to do is send a link to your Zoom or your Skype or your StreamYard, whatever it is that you use. You conduct a session between you and the person, but you eliminate all of the questions and all of the confusion and the hassle. So it does reduce the hassle for both people, because it's not just the creators that are hassled. The users don't like going through that either. People booking sessions don't like the complications just as much as the people who are offering the sessions don't like it. So let's just get rid of all the complications.
Yeah, because I've had people who've done readings for people in the Australia and New Zealand, and they talk about just the time zone difference there. I mean, it's like a full day and trying to figure out if it's at 5 o'clock my time, what is it over their time, and it's a full. It's like, oh, this is crazy. So
Yeah,
I think everybody's going to really appreciate that version of that too. Now,
yeah.
that being said, I can set up everything on my computer, my account, and everything else. I can track everything on my computer. I don't always have to use my cell phone on my app on my phone.
The computer part is for all your store, and as soon as you update your store, it updates the app in real time. So
Okay.
a really interesting thing is is our scheduling mechanism. So you can, if you wanted to take a day off, for example, you can just go in and clear your day like that, and it clears it in the app immediately. So it's very much in alignment with like the modern way, like creating your own schedule, creating your own abundance, but working it into a capacity that you want to. So you might believe that, what, in the new world, in the new earth that I'm creating for my life, I only work 4 days in a week. I'm only offering sessions in 4 days or 3 days, whatever it is, and I take 3 or 4 days off to do my own personal interests and passions, and that's great. So you can do that, set it up that way, and it's very flexible. And as soon as you change things on the website and your store, it changes it in the app instantly. It's just as soon as you put out a product, or like say a meditation that you want to sell for 10 coins or 10 US dollars, you throw it in there, it's instantly on the app for people to see and buy. So it's pretty cool that way. But to get the videos and to see the videos, you have to go through the app. You won't be able to
On your
see
phone.
that.
On the phone.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Because my I like my phone, but I don't have the dexterity of my thumb sometimes when I'm typing to get everything quick enough to dub down. But that's why I like my computer. I can do everything on my computer, and then if I need to upload something. But I think that's an excellent idea. I think it's a really cool product. Um, I'm glad to have you on here too, because and plus, you're a fellow Canadian. I always like to promote my fellow Canadians out there too as well. Which
yeah. Thank
it's
you.
funny. I didn't know you were Canadian. I thought you were U.S. based, but
Yeah,
but that being said, I do love my brothers and sisters down in the U.S. They're a
yeah,
big part of my
absolutely.
family on my podcast. But yeah, I'm always love promoting good Canadian boys out there, doing their
Thank you.
thing. doing
Yeah.
their thing out there, especially out there in Winnipeg these days. It's been a long time since I've been to Winnipeg. God, I'm trying to think the last time I was out in Winnipeg was
Yeah,
2000.
they did a new
2011?
airport like a number of years ago and made a really tall museum of human rights, and so there's been a few improvements for sure.
Well, yeah, it's a cool place. I thoroughly enjoyed myself when I was out there too as well. So, but that being said, David, we're out of time, brother.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me, and it was a lot of fun. And I look forward to watching all your other podcasts as well
Yeah,
and
please do.
seeing your
Yeah.
other guests. So it's great.
Yeah, I got a lot of good, cool information out there too as well. So, that being said, David, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm just going to close off the podcast here. So, this has been the Metaphysical Mentor Podcast with Michael Philpott. Thank you so much for joining me, and goodbye for now.